I hadn't planned to write anything after the deadline passed in silence, after another day of searches and unanswered questions, after Savannah Guthrie's steady voice from that second video continued to echo in everyone's mind. But then the call came, the kind you don't ignore. A longtime source, someone who has stood beside Lester Holt for years in newsrooms and crisis moments, told me quietly that Lester had spoken that morning. Not publicly, not on air, but honestly. What he shared wasn't gossip or speculation, but something deeply human about Savannah and her mother Nancy. It wasn't about strategy or optics. It was about why Savannah is holding herself together with such precision while her world feels like it's shaking. Lester didn't frame it as analysis. He framed it as understanding, the kind that only comes from years of watching someone carry more than they ever show. Lester Holt's perspective. Lester spoke carefully, the way he always does when the truth matters more than the noise around it. He said he's covered more heartbreak than most people can imagine, yet watching Savannah navigate these days has felt different. Personal. He explained that Savannah's composure isn't something she puts on for the camera. It's something she was shaped into long before she ever sat behind a desk. Her mother, Nancy, raised her children with an unspoken code. Strength was survival, control was safety, and emotion was something you managed privately. Lester said Savannah absorbed that lesson so deeply it became instinct. When things fall apart, she doesn't unravel. She organizes. She focuses. She moves forward. What the public sees as calm is actually a lifetime of conditioning, a reflex that activates when everything feels most fragile. A blueprint passed down. According to Lester, Nancy didn't just raise Savannah with encouragement. She raised her with a blueprint for endurance. After losing her husband young, Nancy didn't have the option to fall apart, and that reality shaped how she parented. Savannah learned early that reacting wasn't as valuable as responding, that panic didn't solve problems, and that strength was a responsibility, not a personality trait. Lester emphasized that this wasn't cruelty. It was survival passed from one generation to the next. Savannah internalized the idea that love and approval came through competence, through proving you could handle whatever life threw at you. That lesson served her well in journalism, but it also taught her to put her own fear on hold. Right now, that blueprint is guiding every word she chooses and every moment she stays silent. Why the silence makes sense. Lester walked through the timeline not as a critique, but as context. Savannah didn't speak immediately because she was never taught to. She waited until facts existed, until she could say something with intention rather than emotion. When her first video appeared, it followed a clear structure: gratitude, clarity, purpose. Lester said that wasn't accidental. It was how Savannah was taught to communicate under pressure. She wasn't suppressing grief. She was postponing it. The public often expects visible emotion as proof of care, but Savannah shows care through control. For her, staying measured isn't avoidance. It's respect for the process and for the woman who taught her that reacting too quickly can cost you more than silence ever will. The meaning behind "we will pay." Lester spent time on the phrase that caught everyone's attention: "we will pay." He said most people heard resolve, some heard coldness, but what he heard was devotion. Savannah wasn't negotiating with the world. She was speaking to her mother in the language she was raised in: clear, direct, strong. Lester explained that Savannah believes strength is reassuring, that showing steadiness is a way of protecting the people she loves. Saying those words without her voice breaking wasn't a lack of fear. It was an act of loyalty. She was demonstrating that she could handle this, that she was doing exactly what she'd been taught to do when something precious was at risk. A daughter still seeking approval. One of the hardest truths Lester shared was that Savannah may still be seeking her mother's approval, even now. Not consciously, not selfishly, but instinctively. He said Savannah learned early that praise came after endurance, that reassurance followed performance. In moments of crisis, she defaults to proving she can manage the impossible. Lester believes that's why she hasn't allowed herself to fall apart publicly. Somewhere deep inside, she still believes that if she handles this perfectly, if she stays strong enough, she's honoring her mother in the most meaningful way she knows how. That belief keeps her upright, but it also keeps her locked inside a role she's been playing since childhood. The mother Savannah became Lester made a point to say that Savannah didn't repeat this pattern with her own children. He's watched her parent with warmth, patience, and openness. She allows her kids to feel their emotions without rushing them through it. She comforts instead of correcting. Lester sees that as quiet growth, even quiet rebellion. Savannah understands what strength cost her, and she doesn't want her children to pay the same price. But right now, while her mother is missing, those old rules feel impossible to break. The woman who taught her strength is the one she's trying to save, and abandoning that script feels like betrayal, even if the script itself is suffocating. Strength as both armor and weight. Lester wasn't criticizing Savannah's strength. He was naming its cost. He said the public often celebrates composure without acknowledging what it demands internally. Savannah's strength is real, but it's also heavy. Every day she stays composed, she carries fear quietly. Every calm sentence requires restraint. Lester worries not about her breaking publicly, but about what happens when this is over. Whether the ending is hopeful or devastating, Savannah will need space to release what she's been holding in. Strength can protect you in the moment, but if it's never set down, it becomes a burden instead of a shield. What Lester hopes comes next. Lester ended his thoughts with hope, not despair. He said that if Nancy comes home, the most important moment won't be the reunion camera's capture. It will be what's said privately. He hopes Savannah hears, maybe for the first time, that she never had to earn love through endurance. That she was enough long before she proved anything. Lester shared this not to create drama, but to ask for compassion. Savannah Guthrie isn't just enduring a crisis. She's navigating it with the only tools she was ever given. Understanding that doesn't weaken her story. It humanizes it. And sometimes, that understanding is the most powerful support anyone can offer.